What is going on, guys? Welcome to S2S TV. On this episode, we're going to dive deep into the F100 project. You've probably seen it in the background of doing cha-ching and building other cars like Taylor's Drift Miata. But today we decided, since you guys have been commenting and we want to kind of go into this truck a little bit more, the F100 from Quality Roofing. It's a good customer of ours and we've done a lot of work on it. Eric, our head tech here at S2S, is going to kind of go into where this project started and kind of where we're at now.
Yeah, as Tim said, this is a very good client of ours. He basically came to us with this truck and said, I want to take it, I want to make it something that I can showcase my business with, and I want it to look old. I don't want to change the look of it, but I want it to run new, I want it to perform new, I want it to have new things inside and the outside, and obviously, you know, being the performance guy here, my initial thought was, well, we need to put a late model V8 in it. It's a Ford F100, so naturally we went with 5.0 from an F150. So then we tried to push him on maybe going a little bit with a little bit of boost. He liked the idea, 600-700 horsepower, sounded appealing to him, instant torque.
300 horsepower doesn't sound like fun?
No. 300 horsepower in this truck, it would not be fun. It'd be like driving a dump truck, to be honest with you.
So what's this big black thing right here?
So the big black thing right here is what we sold him. It's a Whipple supercharger. It's 2.9 liters of displacement.
Ooh.
And basically what it does is it takes air, compresses it, it shoves it down the engine's throat. They are liquid cooled, which is a big plus down here in South Florida. So when they're doing what they're doing, the air stays nice and cool. Basically, underneath this blower is kind of looks like a radiator. I call it a brick. There's fluid running through it. And that fluid comes in, the charged air passes through that radiator, it cools the air down.
So this is the brick right here?
Yeah, it's underneath here. It's gonna blow the tires off this truck. It's gonna be a lot of fun to drive. And it just looks good. We're also upgrading the brakes. So we're gonna go with Willwoods all around, all four corners, discs of course, so the truck stops as equally well as it accelerates, which is important. There's a ton of upgrades as far as the cooling system is concerned. Tim built this badass intake system with an integrated filter. I know he's building a custom set of long tube headers as well. So there's a lot of custom fabrication to make this all work. But at the end of the day, what we're going for is a balanced truck that the customer can get in. He can start it and drive it every day, no matter where he is. It'll blow the tires off. It'll stop really well. It actually is probably gonna get decent mileage, which is pretty cool. And that's always what we look for in these builds. So.
Can I get an amen?
So Miller Brothers helped us out with all this bead rolling, all the sheet metal work we all did in-house here. We also cut all these panels on our ArcLight Dynamics plasma table, so it made it really easy to do all of the sheet metal work, kind of finalize everything real easy, real nice. And the Willwood brake booster looks really cool just sitting there on the firewall on its own. Mike, what was the plan or like the vision for the interior? Let's kind of shift focus over there, because there's a lot of really like high-tech stuff that's going on in this truck that's obviously not factory. So what are some of the features that you went into with that?
Well, yeah, I mean, like you guys are saying, he wanted to keep the outside of the truck looking very kind of old and stock. And we kind of wanted to bring the inside a little more to the 21st century. We got a full Rockford Fosgate system in this truck. This is an odometer LCD gauge cluster. We got a custom console here built for our shifter. These knobs right here, these are our air conditioning controls from Restomod.
Those are billet, aren't they?
They are.
And these vents?
They're also billet Restomod air vents.
And what else are we doing with the interior for like the, you know, we're keeping all this leather and this kind of nasty
we got a full leather interior coming from TMI Interiors. The bench seat is going to be similar to this, but it's going to be brown. It's going to have a fold down console with some cup holders, so it's going to be pretty cool. Shifter's going right here in this spot.
Oh, nice.
Rear shifter. This right here is going to be actually a pod that charges iPhone.
Oh, nice. So it's like new modern trucks. You just put the cell phone on there and just charges right up.
It'll link up to the Bluetooth Kenwood system, and he'll be playing his jams and charging his iPhone.
We teamed up with Vossen on this build like we do with most builds. And the factory F100 bed was significantly smaller as far as the wheel wells go. We were only able to fit like a 9-inch wheel back there. And for 600 horsepower, you need way more than that. So we decided to get a little spicy with these wheel wells. You can see right here, these holes, this is where the bed actually bolts to the frame rail. So the frame rail line is right here. So these wheel wells now maximize the amount of wheel you can put in there. So I think, what's the size wheel we're putting?
I think we're fitting a 22 by 12 back there.
22 by 12. So we're gonna have probably a 305 tire.
I think a 295 or 305.
Yeah. So next step, guys, is we're gonna start breaking this thing down. So we're gonna start rolling that time-lapse footage. Stick around because we're gonna tear this entire truck down to the chassis and start painting everything and make it look real pretty. As you can see, guys, the engine bay is all raw metal. When you are doing a build like this, what you want to do is all your fit and finish, all your work that you want to do with metal work, you want to get it all fitted up first, because if you go and do the paint work before you do all that, then you're going to mess up all your paint. You're having to do it several times. So at this stage of the process, the truck's ready to get painted. Mike, what are we doing with the engine bay and all these like raw metal pieces that we went into with the rear tubs, with the front here? How are we going to tie it all together?
Well, being that the concept of this truck is keeping it kind of this patina style, we're gonna try to bring some of these elements into these panels that Tim's made. He's done a great job blending all these welds out. We're gonna do some polish to some of this aluminum work. We have some polished valve covers from JC Customs, which are really gonna make it look sharp. And I believe we're gonna be painting the Whipple, the green, to match the outside of the truck.
Engine bay is stripped. We have everything kind of taken apart right now. We'll be able to pull the motor out next. We gotta get this Willwood master out of the way, get the steering out of the way. What are you doing, Mike?
Cutting some steel so we could brace this cab up and put it on your cart.
Where'd you get that cart, Mike?
I found that one.
That orange handle looks very familiar.
No, that's not Home Depot.
So the truck is completely stripped down at this point. Only thing we have left to do is pull the cab. Once the cab is off the chassis, then we'll kind of break down what we did for the modifications that were done to the 73. As you can see, there's a lot more metal on the inside of these frame rails that originally were not there. What are you doing?
Jacking her up.
All right, guys, so the chassis is all stripped down. Everything is broken down. Mikey's taking the wheels off, getting the last bits taken out so that we can start stripping everything, get ready for paint. This tank is actually stainless steel. We got that second hand. It's not like anything special, but it worked perfect. What I wanted to show you at this stage before we break it all apart is the Heights 4-link and the IFS. Starting at the front with the IFS system. IFS stands for
Independent front suspension.
There it is! So your front suspension system in these old trucks looks nothing like this. The reason for that is back in the day, they thought it'd be really cool to do like this little cantilever setup or like leaf springs or something like that. This truck had like a cantilever, like the arms like came across each way and made like an X, and it's like it binds and it's total junk. So Heights makes a IFS system with a steering rack. So pretty much what you have to do is cut everything out of the front of the truck, and you just kind of weld like a bar across here. We'll overlap some time-lapse footage with this, but this member comes from Heights. All the arms, the coil over spring, the steering rack, and then we still have to put the sway bar in, but this kind of sets it all up so that from here we were able to go all the way out and box all the frame rails in. When you box your frame rail in, from the factory you have a C notch, like a C channel of the frame rail, and it's completely wide open. We took 1/8" metal and we boxed all of the frame rail in. What that's gonna do is gonna give the chassis like tons of strength so that it doesn't bind or twist or anything like that, especially if you're putting like a modern engine in with a lot of power, which we're trying to do, about 500-600 horsepower. This car came stock with like 100 maybe. So now we're gonna have a little more power. The chassis is gonna have a lot more strength. Back here we have a 4-link. These are by far the most beefy 4-link I think for like a street truck I've ever seen. Like this is insane. This cross member right here, pretty much it has your tie-in point for your linkage back to your axle. So Heights gives you all of this to weld in and fit. And then these arms actually tie the front of the chassis in, if you can see right here. So this is all gonna be cleaned up. These arms are gonna be powder coated, I believe cream to match the inlay on the bed on the side. And that patina. And then the chassis itself is gonna be like a matte black. I want to thank you guys for watching this episode, the teardown, everything like that. If you have any questions or any concerns, leave it in the comments below. Next episode, we should have all our parts back from powder coat for the chassis. As far as the suspension goes, the 4-link, the rear end should be back. We're going to finish painting the cab and all the other pieces, and then we're going to put everything back together and start making some headers. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Bye.